when we get into an actual CT, we have a separate bypass valve, which is then included in the M-fold or CT model. So I want to make sure that you guys are always getting a comparison of CT or M-fold so that we actually can understand how that's operating. So there's a couple, while you stay on page 11 in your actual manual there, this is going to be what's called K. So this gives us the actual M-fold unfold. So if you actually flip the page to page 12, that gauge is actually set up and would actually hang upside down above this main hydraulic block. So this is known as the wing unfold gauge. So this is for the M-style CT drill. So what we're looking for there is that there's a gauge, there's a relief valve, and there's a bypass valve. So I pointed out that we actually restrict the flow of oil, so it has to go through the actual orifice for the wing down. So at that point, we'll come back to it, and we know that oil on a CT or M-fold machine is always going through relief there, or sorry, through orifice. So when we activate and set this wing unfold assembly up, what we're doing is we're taking full system pressure, and we're linking off of a port on the side of the block, which is again auxiliary in, which is the same port as where the green line is, which is labeled in. So it's just an auxiliary port off of that same port, so another door off of that hallway, which then supplies oil to this actual bypass valve here. So if we look at this bypass valve, you can see it a little bit better maybe on the screen or in your learning guides, but there's an actual fitting here which is a square block. So some of our fittings come as square. We'll have other orifices in place which are painted black or simply numbered, but most of ours are always black or in a square form. So this is an orifice on here. So because we're taking full system pressure, we need to actually control it. So again, we have an orifice to control that flow, and then when we activate the wing fold switch, it simply opens this up, taking that high pressure, which we noted was as high as 2900 psi, and then it puts it into this wing down circuit, or which is wing unfold. So that gives us the ability to have high pressure to unfold our CT or M-fold machines. So it puts it right into the circuit. From there, there's a relief valve right here, and that relief valve is then what we can set to actually get our machine to unfold. And when we're setting it, we can see what the pressure is actually going to. So this gauge here is known as the wing unfold gauge. So typically when a machine is sent out of here, this is set up. I guess the first thing I want to make sure you know, has an orifice, so it's controlled flow, which is also controlled speed. So the pressure relief is simply adjusting the pressure to what it unfolds. By turning it further, it does not increase the speed. So at that point, when a machine comes out from here, it is set up to basically just unfold. So if we build you guys a 70-foot machine and you're perhaps putting an air pack onto that machine, we then you unfold it in your shop, and these guys take and put the air kit onto it. That machine is gaining weight. So on a CT or M-fold machine, it folds up, that the outer wings come up and over, and then they come up, and then what makes the side of the M, right? So when we go to unfold it, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to unfold that main wing, but it's that outer wing that needs to lift up and over. So that's why we have to go to a bypass valve to get high pressure to actually unfold that machine in the field. From there, first restricting the flow so the speed is set with an orifice, and then from there, when we've set that pressure, we typically set it not so much by a number, but to where that machine starts to actually unfold. So that's why we want to make sure you guys know how to adjust this as well, is that once an air kit is put on, or say a customer, you guys put it on and you only set it up to just unfold again, and a customer is seeding in really wet conditions and he's added mud scrapers and has mud build up and whatever else, that machine is gaining weight again. If he phones you and says, I can't unfold it, you know that you simply have to go to the relief valve here to increase that actual pressure. So that pressure there, we have seen it go as high as 14 plus 100 psi. So this is a 1500 psi gauge. So it is not uncommon on some larger machines to see it actually spike over. Don't be alarmed. It's just simply that it takes more pressure to unfold it. The whole goal of what we want is to make sure you guys know that it is this relief valve here that is actually controlling the pressure, and if a machine won't unfold in that M-fold CT model, we have to then use, as it lists up here, a 3/4 inch wrench to loosen the jam nut, and then a flat blade screwdriver to turn that in to increase the pressure. So we're actually turning that in, increasing the pressure, and you'll see it register higher on here until that wing starts to unfold. And just again, remember, you're not increasing the speed by turning it in farther, you're just simply increasing that pressure. So the other thing to keep in mind, it is a fail-safe. So if a valve happened to get stuck, say this one ever got contamination or was stuck open, you're also setting how much high pressure can go into that system, which if you noted, I said it's in between 1500 psi. It's still pretty well half of what system pressure is. So we're always limiting that back, and where this oil returns is through the dump line return if it goes off of that. So it does then relieve going into auxiliary T, which then it comes out of the front, which is tank, which is through that dump line return.